Hi lovelies, welcome to the channel. So today I thought we could talk about art journals. Now, if you've watched my channel, if you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm a very, very big art journaler. And due to that, I have many art journals. I think I'm working in about 3 or 4 at this current time. And they're all different in different, I like them for different things. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about mostly was my small Ranger journal. Now, we'll get to that because that was the whole point behind this video. Now, I have many different journals. This is just a small little collection. Now, this is last year's 100-day journal. I'm doing the 100-day project, if you didn't know. And there's a few videos on that on my channel, but mostly you'll find out about that on my Instagram, which I'll leave a link to if you're interested. And this was just a journal I picked up from my local dollar store. Now, it worked great for the 100-day project, but I didn't like the paper in it. My favourite journal for that reason is the Large Dylusions journal. And that is because it is mixed media paper. Now, this is almost full. I've only got about 3 pages left. But the paper is a mixed media cardstock. So it's sort of like a manila folder type texture. And the reason I like that is because I am very heavy-handed with my ink. Very heavy with my ink. And this journal holds up to it without fail. I don't get any bleed through. As you can see, that was just a clean up and there's no bleed through. My spine looks lovely, doesn't it? And, all my overspray. But I like it because it holds up. It withstands all the wet medium that I throw at it. And that is why the Dylusions is my favourite. The journal that I used last year for my 100-day project, I decided to do the 100-day project on a whim at the very last minute, so I needed a journal. And I went and got one from my local art store, and the paper is more of a like a cotton type paper. And so I spent a lot of time using paint in this one because ink just didn't hold up. It bled through. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good example. So this had, I think that was ink. Doesn't look like a lot of ink, but it bled through. And as you can see, that's only just a little bit. I spray massive amounts of ink on my pages. And yeah, it didn't hold up. It wasn't good for ink. So it was good to have the journal. I don't have many art stores in my area, which is a bit of an issue. So I get my Dylusions journals online, and I didn't have time to grab one. So it did the job. But yeah, I spent a lot of time using paint in this journal, so I didn't have that problem. And that leads me to this year's 100-day journal, which is, it's not a Dylusions journal, but it's very similar. I got this one from Riot, and the only thing I have noticed, and if I can find it, I'll show you. It has the same paper, at least it feels and looks the same. But one thing I've noticed is I get this really strange texture and pattern when I use my ink. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. But it's doing the job, so I can use much more ink in this one this year, which I'm very happy about. And the other journal I use is the Dina Wakley Media Journal. Now, I got this because I was very intrigued by the different textures that you can have, the canvas, the burlap, and I wanted to give it a go. So that's why I got that. And I also have the large one, which I haven't started in yet. But I really enjoy using this one. So this is a canvas page, and I was able to staple and put some thread on it. So I really enjoy this for the different mediums. Now, it's a lot smaller than this one is. The large is actually bigger, so I'm looking forward to working in that. But even the paper, it's watercolor cotton rag, I think it is. So it's completely different to what I'm used to working on, and paint does work differently on this surface. So that's why I enjoy using this journal, because the textures are just all completely different. So, and I tend to use the mediums and the stamps and stencils of the designer that I'm using So basically this is a Dina Wakley journal, so I tend to use Dina Wakley paints. That's just, yeah, not even intentional, but this one I did just last week, so this is my favourite so far. But what I really wanted to talk to you about was my Small Dylusions journal. Now, the reason this came up was because I didn't realise, but it's almost full. And I don't actually do many art journal pages in this. So I use this as, well, what is more commonly referred to in the art journaling world as a use it up journal. Now, that is in no way something I've come up with. There are many, many YouTubers that use a journal in this sense. That's my chair. Use a journal in this sense. So basically what it is it's a cleanup journal. So when I clean off my stencils, when I have extra paint, I just throw it in here. I like to clean my stencils off on a different surface because I find that I get a negative as well. So this is just all excess paint, extra, you know, cleaning off stencils. And you know, in the long run, it works as a good background. So this was just me cleaning. I had extra black paint, and then I cleaned off a stencil, and then I had half a page done. So, and what I didn't realize, this was testing out some mermaid markers. So I did the background and was just playing with my mermaid markers, and again I had a background done, so I just quickly finished that one off. So the thing is, this journal is almost completely full, and I didn't realize till the other day, just on the weekend actually, I had almost filled an entire journal just by having it to clean up my stencils and use up excess paint. So if you don't have a clean up journal or a use it up journal, I highly recommend getting one, because excess mist, excess paint, excess spray, cleaning off stencils, cleaning off brushes, that's all I have done in this journal. This one I love the colors of this, and this was, I used my stamp blocks as a palette, and this was just cleaning off my stamp block straight into my journal. And this was the pink was actually excess paint I had on a baby wipe, so I just painted the page with that baby wipe, and then that is a background done, ready for me to go. So this entire journal, this one I don't like, but this was just excess paint that Will had out the back when he was painting, so I just scooped it up in my journal, just bits and pieces. So yeah, this entire journal is almost full, just purely from cleanup. And I did not realize until just the other day when I went to find a page to clean up excess mist, because I get a lot of overspray on my desk. So what I do is because I'm very heavy-handed with my mist, so I get overspray everywhere. So I clear off all my stuff, I spray it with water, I pick up a book and drag it through. Nothing goes to waste on my desk, and that's how that came about. And you know, that's already the start of a page right there. So that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. If you don't have a clean up or a use it up journal, I highly recommend getting one. I was so amazed by the fact that I have almost finished an entire journal just from using it to clean off stencils and paintbrushes and use up extra paint. And yeah, I was just so blown away by that I wanted to share it with you. I did not realize that I had almost finished an entire journal purely by using it as a cleanup space. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you and highly encourage you to get yourself a cleanup or a use it up journal. So this is the Small Dylusion, so it's a 5x7, 5x8 maybe. So it's the Small Dylusions journal, and it's just perfect for, you know, cleaning off all those brushes and stencils. I don't clean my stencils much, but when I do, I tend to throw them on a page and wipe them over with a wet one, because then all that ink that I've used goes between it and I get a negative impression of the stencil. So that's why I like to do it, because it's sort of, you know, motivating me to clean my stencils. It's giving me an impression on my page, but here, this is a good example. It's giving me an impression on my page, but it's encouraging me to clean my stencils, which I don't do enough. So yeah, highly recommend getting some form of a journal, or this was just excess paint. This was cleaning off my stencil, which is why my letters and my numbers are back to front, because I flip it over, wipe it off, and then I get a negative impression. That's one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, highly recommend getting yourself a small journal just as a cleanup space to clean off your brushes, use up excess paint. And then if you're ever in the arty mood and feel like, you know, doing something but you don't want to, you know, get all your paints and things out, the majority of the time you'll find you have backgrounds ready to go. So that is why it is a fantastic idea. So, yeah, a little bit of art journaling chat for you today. So, thanks for watching, and I'll be back later in the week with a new video. Bye for now.